Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser USS Lake Champlain, CG-57, the 11th ship of its class, was recognized for more than 35 years of naval service during a decommissioning ceremony at Naval Base San Diego, September 1. During the ceremony, guest speaker Vice Adm. Thomas H. Copeman III, Retine, wished the current crew fair winds and following seas as they bid farewell to their ship. Copeman was a former Lake Champlain executive officer and the 17th Commander, Naval Surface Forces. The former commander concluded, "Without all these dedicated sailors, officers and enlisted, the ship behind us would have been nothing but a monument to technology." For 35 years, it was the home for thousands of sailors. Lake Champlain's commanding officer, Captors Stephen M. Foley, reflected on the service of his crew and those who came before. Selected for the Limited Duty Officer program, while both were assigned to Lake Champlain, Foley credits Copeman's guidance throughout his career for the opportunity to serve as the ship's final commanding officer. Lake Champlain maintained a crew of 40 officers, 31 chiefs and 300 enlisted sailors, and never changed home ports from San Diego. The ship was built in Pascagoula, Mississippi, by Ingalls Shipyard Company and commissioned August 12, 1988 in Manhattan, New York City, New York. Through the course of its distinguished service, Lake Champlain supported Operations Enduring Freedom and Southern Watch, Global War on Terrorism, Maritime Security Operations, MSO, in the North Arabian Gulf, NAG, and counter-piracy operations, and was awarded 11 Battle Effectiveness Battle E awards, 3 Navy Unit Commendations, and 2 Meritorious Unit Commendations. Lake Champlain's rich deployment history spans 3.5 decades. With its first deployment beginning in 1989, the ship completed 17 major deployments. In 1990, the ship responded to an SOS from the Chinese cargo ship MV Huazhu, which was in distress and taking on water. Upon arrival, Lake Champlain and 4 other ships joined other merchant vessels in the search, but could find no sign of the stricken ship or its crew. In heavy seas and with the weather worsening through the day, they searched for the crew. Eventually, USNS Navasota, TA-01061, spotted logs and survivors clinging to debris. In 10 to 12-foot seas and darkening, overcast skies, the helicopter flight crews and rescue swimmers battled the elements and the added danger of Huazhu's adrift cargo to pull survivors out of the frigid waters in the northern Philippine seas. One of Lake Champlain's petty officers spotted a survivor among a drift of logs that were being buffeted by the heavy seas. Disregarding his own personal safety, he jumped into the rough waters and pulled the man out. He was later awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Medal for his heroic actions. In worsening weather conditions and his body trapped in a particularly large drift of debris, only the Huazhu's captain was not recovered. In all, 14 survivors were rescued and 5 bodies were recovered. Taken on board Lake Champlain for transport to Subic Bay, Philippines, the ship's 2-person medical department treated the men. 2 were severely injured and received immediate and intensive care that would later be credited with saving their lives. The rescued crewmen waved as they went ashore, and the ship's crew lining the rails waved back. The following year, CG-57 again stopped briefly in Subic Bay, Philippines, to support Operation Fiery Vigil evacuations after the eruption of Mount Pinatubo. The ship evacuated 844 personnel in 3 runs, covering 2,500 miles in 5 days. In 1993, Lake Champlain seized over 7 tons of cocaine after intercepting Mexican vessel Oso IV during counter-drug Operation Tidal Wave in the Eastern Pacific. CG-57 was the 3rd U.S. Navy warship, named to commemorate the victories during the War of 1812 in the waters of Lake Champlain and the lakeside town of Plattsburgh, New York. The decommissioning of CG-57 supports department-wide business process reform initiatives to free up time, resources, and manpower in support of increased lethality.